Welcome everyone. I'm putting together a video here to kind of help you guys with factoring polynomials. I'm wearing my Dodger blue. I need my work helmet. So I think we're ready to go. Alright, whenever we factor, our first step, no matter what it is we got to look for that common factor to pull out. It's kind of like the cardinal rule. So if everybody has a 6, pull it out. If everybody has a 2, pull it out. If everybody has a 2 and an x, pull it out. Got to pull out that common factor. So in that problem right there, the first one, I saw a 6. I'm going to pull out a 6 from every single one of them. That leaves me with the polynomial x squared minus 3x plus 6. At that point, I would then factor what was left. In this case, everybody, like we said, had a 2 as well as an x, so I'm going to pull out the 2 and the x. And that leaves me with x squared minus 5x plus 3. And again, once I pull out that common factor, I'll factor what's left. But before we get really complicated with a lot of this, let's do 2 of them that don't have a common factor at all. In this problem, like I said, there is no common factor. So then I'm just going to jump in and start doing it. The way I teach it is we factor by FOIL. FOIL meaning, look at your first term, look at your last term, and with those first terms and last terms, how can it make that middle term, which is made up of your outer and your inner, combined? So first thing, I'm going to look at that 2x squared, and that would have to be 2x times x. Then I look at 18. Now 18 could be 9 and 2, could be 6 and 3, could even be 18 and 1. But what I'm going to show you is that the further the numbers are apart, the bigger the middle term is going to be. Well, the middle term is only 9x. So I'm going to pick numbers that are closer together. I may pick 6 and 3 first, then sometimes from there I'll pick 9 and 2. Looking at 6 and 3, I'm going to kind of show you how, by pulling out that common factor, if there was one, would not make sense by having the 6 there and the 3 there. Because if there is no common factor to come out, there's no way that 6 can go in that group, because then that group's got a common factor of 2. So it helps you in proceeding through the problem. If 6 was to go anywhere, it would be there. The 3 would go here. Now, looking on the outside, that's 12x. Insides multiply to be 3x. 12 and 3 can make that 9. Again, they combine to be 9 if he's positive and he's negative. Check and see that it multiplies to be negative 18. It does. So I've taken that polynomial and I factored it as that times that. We're done. Looking at this one, again, first 2 have no common factor. This one doesn't have a common factor. I jump in to get a first term of x squared. That's x times x. To get a last term of 6, yeah, it could be 6 and 1 or 3 and 2. Most students are going to pick 3 and 2 because they can kind of see that it's going to make the 5, but you got to be careful. If you look at 3x and 2x, sure, it does make that negative 5. Your outers and inners do in fact combine to be negative 5x, but by inspection it doesn't multiply to be negative 6, it multiplies to be positive 6. Gotcha. So if it's not 3 and 2, it's got to be 6 and 1. Checking 6 and 1, that also can make the middle term of negative 5x, with him being negative and him being positive. Now again, check to see that multiplies to be negative 6. We're good. I've taken that polynomial and I've written it as that times that. We're done. Now these ones are going to have a common factor. And that's going to, again, be your first step every single time. So now if I see everybody has a 3, I pull out that 3, and that's what I have remaining. Looking at this, I don't have to pull out or have to think about that 3 anymore. Once that 3 is pulled out, all I'm looking at is what makes x squared. That's your first term times first term. What makes 12? Well, it could be anywhere from 12 and 1, 6 and 2, 4 and 3. Again, the further the numbers are apart, the bigger the middle term is going to be. I'm going to pick 4 and 3. That can make my middle term of negative 1x, because that's 4. That's 3. 4x and 3x can do it. If he's negative and he's positive, just check that it multiplies to be that negative 12, and it does. So we're good. And remember, you pulled out that 3, so it's still there at the very end of my problem. I've taken the polynomial, and it's that times that times that, so we factored it. Looking at this one, everybody has a 2. Got to pull out that common factor. Once you pull out that common factor, all I have to factor is this, and I think we could do that. Look at your first term, look at your last term. It's got to combine to be negative 14. Once the 2's out of your way, though, keep it out of your way. All you're responsible for factoring now is the 3x squared minus 14x plus 8. First term is 3x and x. 8 could be 4 and 2, could be 8 and 1. Again, the middle term, it's okay, but it's not that big. I'm going to check 4 and 2. Yep, 4 and 2 can do it. Outside is 12, inside is 2. 12x and 2x can make that negative 14 if they're both negative. Yep, it multiplies to be positive 8. We're done. When you look at these, immediately it looks a little different because it's only got 2 terms. But don't let it shake you. Pull out your common factor, and then try and factor what's left. First term's x squared. It's got to be x and x. Last term 16 could be 8 and 2, 16 and 1. But by inspection, I don't have a middle term. If I don't have a middle term, I want these to be identical because in a sense, if there is no middle term, I want these guys to basically get rid of each other. Now to do that, let one be negative and one be positive, and that should get rid of that middle term, and we're done. This is your factoring tip, and go Dodger Blue.